David Moyes' Hammers side take the trip from East to West London this Saturday to the Brentford Community Stadium to take on, you guessed it, Brentford in a Premier League game. A rare Saturday 3:00 game for the Hammers after an emphatic, controlled and truly brilliant 3-1 victory over Arsenal last night in the Carabao Cup. Still buzzing about that one, but David Moyes has issues for this game in terms of his team selection, with both Lucas Paquetá and Edson Alvarez out suspended with the 1 game 5 yellow card ban. So he's gonna have to shuffle things around a little bit, David Moyes. That's what we're going to discuss on today's show, alongside Brentford and all things about this game. Brentford last time out beat Chelsea 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. I mean, that feat isn't really as amazing as it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago beating Chelsea, but a superb win for Thomas Frank's side that have probably been a little bit below par so far this season. There's just 1 point that separate the two sides, and that point is in favour of the Hammers. We're sitting 9th, Brentford is sitting smack bang in the middle, 10th in the Premier League, of course. Well, the thing I'll say about Brentford is that if you take the two best players out of any Premier League squad, barring a couple, most teams will struggle. David Raya and Ivan Toney have been taken out of Brentford's, squad and team for varying reasons, of course, the ban, and they flogged Raya to Arsenal. And I think they've cope with it pretty well. They brought in a keeper who I don't think is fantastic. He's had a couple of iffy moments so far in a Brentford shirt, but I think they've composed themselves excellently so far to find themselves where they are. A few people predicted potentially that they might drop off without Ivan Toney, the main man, leading the line for Brentford this season. But players like Visa and Mbeumo have massively stepped up, I think, and I've always rated them, and they've always turned up against us. Brentford is a side that we very rarely beat. I mean, we did beat, was it last year or the year before in the FA Cup? But apart from that, I don't think we've beat them since they came up from the Championship. I think that's a fair few years ago now. So look, we historically don't have a fantastic record against them. I think we lost at home against them 2-0 last year. But Moyes, I think it was just after Christmas, where Moyes was deep under pressure, and that was dreadful. And I believe we lost away to them last year after a European game, and that was pretty bad as well. So look, we don't historically do fantastically against Brentford, but we've got a newly found resurgence and confidence after beating Arsenal midweek. I mean, the confidence was on the floor after 3 consecutive losses for David Moyes' side, but you've got to give credit where credit's due to Mr. Moyes, because he's picked that side up excellently in a controlled, as I said at the top of the show, a really controlled performance against Arsenal last night, and we thoroughly deserve to win. West Ham fans have said that, Arsenal fans have said that. Alan Smith couldn't quite master that, but it is what it is. Let's see who we have joining us in the chat. The one, the only Terry Noosham. Evening all, JC. Hope you are well, mate. Fortune's always hiding. We've looked everywhere. That is for sure. Yeah, I can tell people are still buzzing just on social media and on YouTube channels, buzzing after that result last night. Lawrence has joined us. I hope you're feeling better, mate. Hope all is well with you over in the US of A. £5 bet. Tony doesn't score. Fantastic use of the West Ham unofficial emojis. We are lucky. We are too lucky we get Liverpool away. I tell you what, I didn't even have to look at it. I got up this morning, the draw was later than expected, so I didn't watch it. Got up this morning, I turned on my phone and went, it's going to be Liverpool away, And I looked at my phone and went, oh, for goodness sake, it's Liverpool away. But yeah, look, it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. And we've just got to give them a crack, haven't we? I mean, the only thing that's going to a positive that I'm taking out of it currently is that I think sandwiched in between our game, they've got Man United and Arsenal either side of us. So I'm expecting probably some changes and rotation, which could work in our favour, similarly as it did last night against Arsenal, look, away from home is a different kettle of fish, and Liverpool are a very good side. They've proven that this season, but we gave them a good go a few weeks ago up at Anfield, so I can't see why we can't do it again on a cup night where anything can happen, where there'll be some rotation from Liverpool. And I'd expect David Moyes to put out his best 11 in a quarter final of a competition. We've got to the quarter final. I don't see why he won't put out his best team. Whereas, is that going to be the priority for Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool side? I don't think it will be. So, yeah, that will possibly work in West Ham's favour. But we don't need to worry about that yet. That's not till Wednesday, the 20th of December at 8 o'clock, announced today. Everyone's eagerly waiting now to see what the ticket allocation is. But, yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. Lawrence says, I want to see Mavropanos on Sunday. Yeah, we'll come on to that in just a second. For me, Mavropanos is a player that I'm expecting to see start on Saturday, actually. Sorry. Robert, thank you very much indeed for joining us. How are you doing? So, yeah, in terms of a team selection, I did a little bit of a thread on Twitter earlier on, and I might do a video tomorrow just covering it in a bit more detail about what Moyes is going to do here, because he's got to make some changes. They're enforced, as I said at the top of the show, because of the suspensions to Edson Alvarez and Lucas Paquetá. He's got to make changes, and that's two big players missing from the midfield. So, look, it's got to change. Moyes has got to work his way around it, and we now know Moyes can adapt. That's the funny thing about that game last night. I was expecting maybe a Mikel Antonio up front and the same sort of system, but last night Moyes changed it, and he changed it for the better. He put Antonio on the bench. He kept him there, right? He kept Antonio on the bench, and he started Bowen up front, which is something he's hinted at for a while. He's hinted at Jarrod Bowen starting up front for a while, and he put players around him, and I think he got it bang on. And I think all of the players benefited from the way we played. Kudus, very good. Saïd Benrahma, confidence on the floor, I thought was still pretty good. He was probably the worst out of all four of them, but I still thought he was good. Paquetá, he was just in one of those moods, wasn't he? And Jarrod Bowen, I thought, led the line. He put his body on the line. He got a nasty little cut on the top of his eyelid that had to be very quickly stitched up by the medical team, and he got back onto the pitch and was all okay in the end. But I thought he was just very, very intelligent in his play. Jarrod Bowen, 100%. Some of the runs that he made and just the awareness that he has is just so much better than Mikel Antonio's, because he's got that bit more of a striker's instinct. Mikel Antonio doesn't have a striker's instinct. Moyes Bowen has just got that little bit about him up there, and I can see. I've been a little bit dubious about Bowen starting up front. I've always believed his best position is on the right wing. And don't get me wrong, I still think his best position is on the right wing. But push comes to shove, if it's either, if Antonio's not available or Moyes just simply doesn't want to play Antonio, push comes to shove, Danny Ings or Jarrod Bowen up front. We all know what we're doing, don't we? But I put a predicted lineup out earlier on Twitter, and I think it was a little bit optimistic, hoping that Mikel Antonio isn't going to start up front and Moyes will go with a similar sort of system. Obviously, personnel will have to change because of the suspensions, but what I anticipate is Ward-Prowse to come in, Souček to be there, Benrahma to maintain his spot in the side, because I think he deserves it. What's the point of playing him having a decent game and then dropping him again, bringing his confidence straight back down to the floor? And I think that's what Moyes should do. I think he should again leave Mikel Antonio on the bench, and I think he should go with what worked on Wednesday night. If it's not broke, don't fix it, Moyes. I think that's blatantly obvious. I thought we functioned a hell of a lot better with Jarrod Bowen leading the line. He wasn't isolated up front as Mikel Antonio has been, and it just genuinely worked. And everybody could tell that. Everybody could understand that the system that we played, it just suited everybody so much better. And hopefully Moyes stood back to himself and went, okay, this is something that can work. And In terms of the back line, the way I've sort of predicted, hopefully, adventurous Moyes would shift it around, is go to a 3 at the back, put Zuma in, fingers crossed he's going to be fit, and Mavropanos, all three of them, Agurd, Mavropanos and Zuma, to start Soufal and Emerson as the wing-backs, and then have those two, Souček and Ward-Prowse in midfield, and then the wingers of Benrahma and Kudus and Jared Bowen leading the line. That would be an ideal, brilliant lineup. I'm expecting Mikel Antonio to go back to the same way. But with the lack of midfield options available for David Moyes, I think a back 3 could be the way to go. Or a back 5, which, turns into, doesn't it? That back 5. So I think that's possibly what Moyes could do, or revert back to the normal system. But a word on Brentford. Just to touch on the Everton game slightly, that ball through the middle of the centre halves was blatantly obvious. Calvert-Lewin was going to receive the ball, and it was a straight ball, straight through to Calvert-Lewin, a straightforward ball through the midfield, through the centre halves, and he got in a couple of times. One was flagged off offside, and I think it was a great save from Areola as well. Obviously, it didn't matter because it was offside, but I think Moyes might try and eradicate that by packing that back line with 3 centre-halves and getting the wing-backs to push up, because Emerson has been brilliant and Soufal was very good on Wednesday against Arsenal. So, Emerson puts in a solid 7 out of 8, 7 or 8 out of 10 performance every single week. And it exposed how poor we were without him against Everton. It was painful to watch, and that's nothing against Aaron Cresswell, but Emerson is just better, isn't he? Going forward defensively, everything about him, his cohesion, his understanding, his passing, everything about Emerson is just better. And that was blatantly obvious when he came back into the side after his yellow card suspension on Wednesday night. So obviously I'd expect those wing backs to start, and it would give those two the license a little bit more when we've got the ball to push up. And then, of course, they're going to have to come back out of possession to assist the centre halves as well. But I think I debate with somebody earlier, and whether a midfield 2 against Brentford will get overrun, possibly. But then again, when if we're going to play this system, I'd expect there is an expectation that the wingers and the wing backs would sort of tuck in out of possession and assist defensively, which would, in a way, sort of expose Jared Bowen up front as a little bit isolated. But I still think this system is the way forward, and I'm praying that David Moyes sticks with it. As I said earlier, if it's not broke, don't fix it, Moyes. And Brentford are a good side, I'm not doubting that. You've got some very good players who always seem to turn up against us. That Embuemo is dangerous. Visa is very dangerous as well. So look, I'm not denying the talent they've got there, but we've got a bit of confidence now. If we'd have lost that game in the fashion that probably everybody expected last night, then I'd have no confidence coming into this game. But we've just picked it up a little bit. I know we are without a couple of our most crucial players in Lucas Paquetá and Edson Alvarez. They are 2 crucial cogs to our system. But hopefully Moyes is going to adapt. He's in his adapting stage, and we can get a result out of it. I'd 100% bite your hand off for a point right now. As I said earlier, we don't tend to do well against Brentford. A point away from home, I think, is would be a very, very good return for it. So look, we've just got to go out there and hope Moyes implements the same system as Wednesday night, and the boys and the lads put in a good performance, because that's all we asked for. And then, of course, we then go into a game that we should be winning at home against Nottingham Forest, and then we're into an international break. Yes, and then we come back to Burnley after that. So look, we've got some. I think there's a European game wedged in there somewhere as well. But it's just continuing to build the confidence back up again, because it was a damning, dreadful and disgusting week, last week. See the 3 Ds there. That was good, wasn't it? It was a pretty crap week to be a West Ham fan. The 3 losses were bad enough, but the performances were even worse. And I think it showed real character in that side to really pick themselves back up against still a very good Arsenal side. Don't get me wrong, they are good. It was second string, but they were still, there. what that team cost was still more than what our team cost. So look, we were probably still the underdogs. We were at home, but probably still the underdogs in the game with the teams that were selected, and we could only beat what's put in front of us, and boy did we beat them. So that confidence has got to be using through that squad. It's got to be carrying through, and I just hope that we can continue that and shock Brentford and get back to what we were doing prior to the international break. Maybe scoring early, maintaining the pressure, doing them on the counter, getting a decent set piece, getting some confidence back into the legs of James Ward-Prowse, who of course didn't play last night. So he's been struggling in the last couple of games. So hopefully getting him back to some confidence would be a key objective for me in this game as well. Getting whipping in some corners to the likes of Zuma, Souček, and Naya Fagerd. Let's get the goals rolling again, and let's keep that confidence and team morale back up again. It was a fantastic night last night, not only because of the circumstances and for Declan Rice to beat him and get one over him. That was fantastic, and I just hope that we can continue that in Saturday's game against Brentford. Let's take some of your comments and see what you guys are saying. Lawrence says, I retired from Navy and Richard and Jake are getting more sea time than me. Well, what can I say? Not off again until July. We got a bit of a wait. Off again. When do you get time to work? I know it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. I don't know how he fits it all in. Ronnie, our resident Spurs fan, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Evening, guys. Thanks for beating Woolwich. You're most welcome, Ronnie. You are most welcome. It was a joyous night. It was justice, is what I liked to call it. According to rumours, it was Hettinger set up. Is that you say his name? I've got no idea. If it was, then fair play to him and fair play to Moyes for not sticking with it, but implementing it. It didn't look like a David Moyes system. It looked a little bit more out there for David Moyes. So maybe that new voice of John Hettinger is helping, and maybe Moyes is actually listening to him, which is probably where the downfall for Mark Warburton probably happened, because they clashed, Warburton and David Moyes. There's no denying that. And I don't think Moyes listened to Warburton. So maybe that's a positive sign that David Moyes is now listening to his coaches and implementing plans that they come up with. And if it was down to Hettinger, full praise to him, because boy, did it work. That was for sure. Get your score predictions into the chat. There's a few draws, as I predicted. Desmond says Dad. Ronnie agrees with him. Lawrence is going for a 2-0 West Ham win. I like it. Robert's going for a 3-1 West Ham win. Any point will do. 0-0, 4-4. A point would be a result. It certainly would be good. That is for sure. Josh's granddad, thank you very much indeed for joining me. Hi, Richard and Jay. Thanks for drawing Liverpool. I was convinced Everton would draw Liverpool last night. Yeah, it's brilliant for us, isn't it, having to go to Anfield on the 20th of December, 5 days before Christmas. Absolutely brilliant. But we were always going to get them. The most difficult game left in the competition, Liverpool away. Yeah, West Ham will have them. West Ham will have them. He also says we're doing well at the moment. He put out a strong team. Burnley were poor. Yeah, Burnley are trouble. They're not only slipping down the table, another devastating performance and result for them in the Carabao Cup. It's not looking good. I mean, we've got Bournemouth in 23 days' time, and I'm sure before then I'll speak to Dan, who we've had on before, the Burnley fan, to get his real insight and take on what's going on at Turf and what's going on at Burnley after completely storming the Championship last year. Struggle doesn't really cover it so far this season, but they play us in a few weeks, as I said, so it won't worry. It won't worry them, because I'm sure we'll gift them something. That is for sure. But yeah, look, in this game, just got to continue building this confidence up. I grasp a point off of you, take a point off you right now if you're going to give it to me. I'm not denying how good of a team Brentford are, and I commend them for rallying after losing two very good players in David Raya and Ivan Toney. They've still got undoubted quality there, and at home they're a very difficult side to beat. I haven't watched much of Brentford this year, but the one game that I watched in full of them was at the very start of the season, where they played Tottenham in a free-flowing 2-2 draw, where Spurs couldn't quite get over the line, which they haven't failed to do in many occasions this season. So I think that's credit to Thomas Frank. He's a very good manager. You know, when we were talking about Moyes going, Thomas Frank was a manager that I have loved to see come in to West Ham, but I just can't see him being steered away from West London currently, because he's doing a great job there. The fans love him. There seems to be a real good atmosphere around Brentford currently, but hopefully we can turn up, we can do the business and continue our confidence ahead of upcoming games. My prediction, I've been and ahhing between a sort of a draw and a tight win. I'm going to back the boys, 2-1 West Ham. I reckon it's going to be a goal quite early for West Ham, maybe from a corner. And then I can see them levelling things up maybe just before half-time. And then a goal from Jarrod Bowen, because he's just loving life at the moment, isn't he, in the second half, to give West Ham all 3 points. I'm hoping for a bit of positivity and I'm hoping for Moyes to implement a similar system to what he did last night in the Carabao Cup. And if Mikel Antonio's starting and if it's the same old Premier League system, I will be disappointed at Moyes. I'm not going to be surprised because that is fully what I'm expecting, but I'm just holding on to a small hope that he will stick with what we saw and he will continue to try something a little bit different because it worked on Wednesday and I don't see why it can't work on Saturday. But yeah, I'll have a video coming to you tomorrow, a little bit more about this game, and then I'm sure we'll have a build-up show ahead of kickoff on Saturday as well. Plenty of content to come. Keep yourself locked in right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Become a channel member if you'd like to support the channel further as well. And before I wrap things up, I will take some of your final comments. Joshua ETV official says, hi Jake, it's Joshua, congratulations on your team. Thank you very much for that. Very gracious in defeat. Thank you very much indeed. Terry says, all the shopping will be done, the tree will be up. Other than loafing around eating quality streets, what will we do? Let's get our backsides up to Anfield and sing our hearts out. Oh, Ians, you couldn't have put it better, Terry. I look forward to seeing the Christmas tree, as I'm sure you're going to astutely, perfectionately put it up in the Newsham household. But yeah, looking forward to that one, 100%, 100%. If you are to, of course he has, of course he has. Lawrence says, how do you become a member? Couldn't find it. If you just scroll down on your screen, Larry, where the subscribe button is, hopefully it should be grey and says subscribed. There's a little join button there. If you click that, it's got all the different tiers of membership, and then you can just knock yourself out, not literally, and have a little look at all the different options. There's, of course, you get the emojis, there's members only content, and there's all sorts of stuff, of course, as well as supporting the channel financially, if that's what you want to do as well. I'll also put a link into the chat if anyone wants to join our membership page. That is now in the chat, and yeah, if you'd like to join, it is there. And all I hope for is Moyes to be a little bit more positive, to stick to what we did on Wednesday night and not go back to normality. It's going to be difficult. We've got players out. Brentford are a good side, but we've still got to have confidence, because after that performance on Wednesday night, after that result, why would we not? Thank you very much indeed for watching. As I said, thank you very much. And yeah, Brentford, very good side. They are good at what they do. I think the thing with Brentford is that they've got a team of players there that I think it's similar to Brighton. It's a team of players where they don't jump out at you when when you look at their line. There's not loads of huge names there that you go, oh, blimmin' hell, that's one to look at. Obviously, Ivan Toney was probably one last season for them, but they're just very good at what they do. There's no doubt about that. Their lineup against Chelsea, they implemented a 3-5-2 system. Mark Flecken has been a little bit dodgy in goal from Ethan Pinnock, Christopher Ayer, Nathan Collins, Ramussen, Hickey, Norgard, Jensen, Visa, Janelt, and Mbeumo. If you get what I mean, there's no huge names that are jumping out at you there, but they're very good side. They're very well-oiled machine. And the way Thomas Frank wants them to play, they've got a real sort of togetherness at Brentford. And I commend it. I commend any team that try and push the big six. And they did that last year, finishing in the top half of the table. And they continue, they've been a little bit dodgy, a couple of results that haven't gone their way so far this season, but a win against Chelsea, goal from Ethan Pinnock, and a goal from Brian Mbeumo to finish things off right at the death. That's absolutely fantastic for them. But having said that, I've given them loads of praise there. We're still going to beat them. I've got confidence in that. Trust me, it's going to be 2-1 to West Ham. We're going to win. We're going to sneak out, and we're going to have some confidence back into this place. And David Moyes is going to retain a little bit of faith within this fan base after a turbulent and very rocky week last week. So yeah, thank you very much indeed for watching. Until next time, come on you irons, and we will see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.